recording, and we will be going live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're live.
Good morning, Owasso. This is the Twins with Owasso Live, and this is the Morning Loop. It's currently 8 a.m. like normal. It is 78 degrees outside with a high of 93 today, so it's going to be warm. It already feels warm. According to the thermometer, the News on 6, it says it feels like it's already 87 degrees outside, so it's going to be warm, warm, warm. So be prepared for that hot weather. Stay cool, stay hydrated. Traffic conditions going into Tulsa are fair. It's never crowded on Friday. Can't ever figure out why, but, you know, it's just the way it is. I guess a lot of people just work from home now. But that being said, as far as local news goes, there's not a whole lot going on. I think the only thing they got added to the calendar was a pancake breakfast for veterans of foreign wars at the Owasso Community Center. So
That's correct.
go check that out if you want to go do that and talk with the veterans. It's always a good thing to hear their perspective, hear their stories, and, you know, not forget and honor their legacy. So that being said, let's push on to more national news. And if you saw the thumbnail that we made this morning, it's not too shabby, but Disney says whites need not apply. Sorry, no whites allowed. But yeah, so James O'Keefe, or the O'Keefe Media Group, or OMG Media, they, James O'Keefe does what James O'Keefe does. He sent out his attractive female undercover agents to woo a Disney. He's like the VP of something over there at Disney. He's like the VP over like the HR department or something along those lines. And he was, candidly talking about, trying to impress these. He had, in fact, what was impressive is he had two separate girls go on two separate dates with him on an app called Hinge. That's actually how I met my girlfriend, was through Hinge. But he took two girls and basically confirmed the story twice with them. He kind of embellished with one a little bit more than the other. But apparently, Disney just goes, yeah, we're just not going to hire white people for gigs anymore. So it's, Disney could be facing a class action lawsuit again. But, with DEI being so present in the workforce now, what do you expect? Discriminating against a race of people, even if that race is the majority of people in this country, is still discriminatory practice. You can't not say you're going to hire somebody because of the color of their skin. But that's exactly what DEI is. That's exactly what this guy was talking about. This guy himself was talking about how he is in position to be promoted, but it seems like the people in positions above him are going, yeah, no, it's not a position for white people, and they consider him a white guy. So he's not going to be promoted to that position. The only person who they would promote to that position would be someone of Jewish descent who's white, but that's about the only caveat that they gave to that. So, I don't know, play the video if you got it, Chad.
I do.
Let's listen to it for a little bit. And
You got it.
There have been times where, there's no way we're hiring a white male person.
Just kind of unspoken.
There are times when it's spoken, but
How would they say it?
there's no way we're hiring a white male person. They say
Like straight to you? Or okay.
They'd be very careful how they message that to agents.
According to these videotapes, Disney blatantly discriminates
O'Keefe, the man
against
himself.
whites, white men in particular.
I think I'm sort of like
Separate date,
prepared
separate girl.
for it. I'm well positioned for it, but as far as Disney's concerned, I'm a white male. That's not who they're looking to promote at the moment.
As a white guy, even Michael has his own doubts about the possibility for advancement for himself at Disney. In fact, Michael actually got to experience Disney's discrimination against white males firsthand.
I've been at the company 11 years now, so I have friends in HR and I have friends in those divisions, and they're like, look, nobody else is going to tell you this, Mike, but they're not considering any white males for a shot. They're just not. That's not what they want.
They even passed over a qualified half-black person for a promotion because they didn't look black enough.
We wanted to hire somebody in the department a few years ago now. Who
That means
was
Obama
half
would be
black,
president
but
with that
didn't,
logic.
appear half black. And there was a creative executive who was like, we're not, that's not what's wrong. Like, they wanted somebody in meetings who would appear a certain way, and he wasn't gonna bring that to the meeting. It kind of feels like we're, at some point there's going to be a lawsuit. That's kind of how it feels, just because of, you know.
And that is a lawyer talking. So how does Disney explain pushing these discriminatory practices? They use code words and buzzwords.
Go ahead and pause it. We don't have to watch the whole
there's
thing. We can let people. So if you want to check that out, go. I mean, this is on Instagram, but I'm sure you can just go to the O'Keefe Media group page or OMG Media. Just type it in Google or go to. I'm sure they have Facebook. They have it on Instagram for sure. I'm sure they have it on Twitter, and they definitely have a Twitter. So go check out O'Keefe Media Group. You can watch that entire interview where he just kind of lays it out. And again, that's a lawyer who's a VP in one of their departments.
Senior Vice President and Team Lead, 20th Television Walt Disney Company.
Yeah, and he works specifically works with the contract department with the creative department for films. So he's in that department where they basically hire all the diversity hires for their new Star Wars films and whatnot. So
That makes it even worse.
yeah, so we all know how bad Star Wars has gotten over the last couple of years. So I mean, but there you go. I mean, it doesn't matter how good you are. You could be the best, most qualified person for the job. You could be the best writer. You could be the best actor, but they're going to be like, no, you're not the right person for this position because we're looking for diverse person of color. So again, this is why the writing has really died over at Disney because you could be the best writer, but if you're a white writer, they're not going to give you that position because a white person can't obviously write a good story for a person of color because that's what we want in these stories. It's like, no, you should just want a good story, period. A relatable character that people of all races and all genders can identify with, period. You want to write an Ellen Ripley from Alien and Aliens. That's good writing. It wasn't forced down your throat. It wasn't like, oh, look, she's a strong female. It's like, no, she was the last survivor on a ship and was the most capable one of surviving. She just got lucky. But she also had made some smart, savvy decisions. But that wasn't like she survived because she was a strong woman. You know, none of that nonsense. But again, this is discrimination high. I mean, there should be a class action lawsuit filed up against Disney. But again, this is what Tim Pool was talking about yesterday. It's like it doesn't matter. The law doesn't matter. It matters where you file the law. If the judge is on the side of DEI, you're not going to win that case. Yeah. It's like the lawyers don't care about what the law says anymore. They go, what district do you want to file this suit in? Because depending on what district we filed in, you'll win or lose.
Yeah. But at the federal level, it would definitely lose.
Yeah, if they let it get that far. I mean,
yes.
Like I said.
But that's what you said the other day. It's like these lawyers have little tactics and things they can do to make it get held up for years before it finally gets seen, before it finally sees the light of day in a federal court or a higher court.
Absolutely. So, I mean, this is disgusting. This is bad, and this is why cinema, in particular, films at Disney are suffering so badly. Now, I'm not saying there's not people of color who are talented writers, but they're definitely not giving us their best and brightest at Disney right now. And it's obvious. It is obvious. The corporate structure there and the enforced DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion initiatives that they've got put in place are ruining the company. They're wasting $180 million on Star Wars: The Acolyte, and it is crap. Crap. People hate it. It is the lowest ranked Star Wars show by the audience. It's like got a 14% audience score. And it's got like an 80% critic score, but that's because the critics are bought and paid for. Again, this is common knowledge if you don't know anything about YouTube movie reviewers, but this is where I usually go to get my reviews. I don't listen to the critics, especially the bought and paid for shills. Like if you go through IGN, Rotten Tomatoes, like a lot of those places, they're not good. Now, the Rotten Tomatoes audience score is probably slightly more trustworthy than the critics because the critics want access to these companies. Same as the media, like the media being in bed with the Democratic Party. Like if they write a bad article about a political candidate, they're not going to be asked back to the White House. Maybe with the exception of Fox, because they have to have Fox in there because it's the only right-wing news outlet, so they have to have somebody who's somewhat contrarian in there, but still going to play by the rules. Now, it's the same with these movie critics. They want to go to these early premieres and shake hands and meet and greet with the celebrities and the higher-ups at Disney. They like that. They like that I mean, what do you call it? It's just a parasitic relationship where you go in there and it's like, hey, give us a positive movie. And then again, if you happen to say, like, so let's say you get invited and you are a opposing critic or someone who's not going to, they go, well, you can't write anything bad about the movie until 3 days after it premieres.
Yep.
I mean, they make you sign that as a contract. Like, you go and watch the film 3 days before it releases, then it releases, then you have to wait another extra day before you can even post your review saying, yeah, it's actually not that good.
Yeah. Well, like with a bunch of these people that are film reviewers like that, they usually have two. They have the friendly one that they do the 3 days before, so that way they can be like, look, I had the early access. And then they'll do one afterwards that kind of, semi
It's not the best, but it's actually pretty decent. And like I said, and you can see it. Like I watch Joe Blow movie reviews, and like it's obvious whenever they are shilling for a company. It's very obvious.
Mm-hmm.
So Joe Blow is not above this.
Chris Stuckman is not above
Chris Stuckman is definitely not above it. Chris Stuckman is the Milli Vanilli. Like, he is the guy that. So I mean, at least Jeremy Jahns is I would say him and Chris Stuckman are like right on par. But Jeremy Jahns will actually give you his honest thoughts on something. He doesn't go into super great depth about movie reviews, but he'll at least be like, yeah, The Acolyte sucks.
Critical Drinker is the best movie reviewer.
Yes, Critical Drinker is the best movie reviewer, period. I mean, he literally appeared out of nowhere in the last 3 years. I mean, he just appeared. So, I mean, he's got some phenomenal reviews. So, with that being said, we'll push on, because that's the way it is with Disney. I mean, it's bad, and it's bad in this parasitic relationship with, again, I could say on this all day, because it's the same with game journalism. They want to be in bed with the game companies. We've talked about this before. It's all related. Journalism is where we first see the shillery come from, and this corrupt relationship that they have with each other.
Yeah, and it's usually just because they want to be in business together, or like the journalist wants to be in film, or vice versa.
Yeah. So that's the way it is, man. So let's push on. We'll go to the next subject, and it's a little bit darker, a little bit more morbid. So I actually sent Chad a link from DC Drano, who posted on Instagram, and it was like article after article. It was just him aggregating a bunch of articles about illegal immigrants raping, murdering, and assaulting either citizens or children. And let me just put it this way. As censorious as all these tech platforms are, like Facebook is very censorious. Instagram is super censorious. Twitter's better about it now that Elon Musk is in charge, but
TikTok is super censorious.
TikTok is the most censorious. So it's like TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, or it might be Facebook and Instagram, but they're all about the same when it comes to censorship. But so this one, I just have this one of Charlie Kirk posted, because it was less, but I mean, like, it was for DC Drano's post. It was article after article after article of illegal immigrant murders U.S. citizen, illegal immigrant assaults minor, illegal immigrant assaults and batters minor, illegal immigrant does something sexually horrible to a child. I mean, we are allowing criminals to come in and across our border in droves. Like, you cannot, like, 1 million people came across, 2 million people came across this year, right?
Yeah.
So we don't know who these people are. We don't know what they want. We know that most of them are economic migrants. They're not fleeing persecution from any country.
Well, we definitely know one thing. Like, most of these countries are saying that they're seeing all-time lows in crime. And for some weird reason, America's seeing all-time record in crime after all this immigration. So, correlation doesn't always mean causation, but...
And they're talking about it on CNN, and what's his name? Jon Stewart were talking about how crime is at an all-time low. Well, do you know what the problem is when you have this many illegal immigrants coming in? You're going to get less crime reported because they know they're illegal, and they're not going to report crime because they're themselves illegal. Now, but then you have the ones who go, if you are a victim of a crime, they have those guys faking crimes to get citizenship status so they can stay in the U.S. because they can fake hate crimes or fake, assaults and batteries. So, I mean, crime's up, but it's also down because a lot of them don't know how to navigate the U.S. system. And some of them, are abusing the system. So, again, these people are coming here illegally. They're already breaking the law. So they're already criminals coming here illegally. And then they're doing more criminal acts to stay in the country, or they're just going to fall off the grid and you'll never see them again, so they can just live off the grid and not be picked up by ICE or anything like that. So it's disgusting. It's wrong, and the censorious nature of big tech, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, like they're trying to keep it out of the zeitgeist. So it's like, oh no, just look at on Instagram. It's like, look at all the hot girls in the swimsuits. Like that's what you want. That's what you want.
Pacify your mind with adult content.
Yes, yeah. Don't worry about the things that really matter. So it's disgusting. So let's push on to the next subject because this is just bad. It's disgusting. It makes me mad.
Next we have here is they're coming for your children still. Lego makes and unveils a new LGBTQ campaign aimed at children, which features drag queens and pup fetish gear attending pride parades.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. And let me get this pulled up real quick. And actually, I don't know if we'll be able to play it with the music, but I'll try for a minute.
They can't just leave it well enough alone.
No, man, it's always the kids. It's like we were talking about before. They don't go after the old folks' homes. They go after children in these campaigns because they are marketing specifically towards children.
They're not going to come after your guns. They're not going to come after anything. They're going to indoctrinate and recruit your kids. And there are some people who will be 100% on board for this. They're like, oh, this is beautiful. This is so great. How culturally relevant. But if you have a lick of common sense, you'd be like, this is the kind of stuff that kids don't need to be involved in until they're significantly older. Like, there's no, 7, 8-year-old kid that goes, I'm gay. How do you know that? You know, like, you're already attracted to kids at 8. I can tell you, I thought girls had cooties at 8 years old. It was just me and the boys. You know? Like, you shouldn't even be thinking about that stuff when you're that age. You should be playing with Legos, but not like this. I mean, I was building Lego pod racers, Star Wars, Episode 1 stuff, you know?
I remember that. That was a fun Christmas.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the deal is. They just keep throwing this crap out in the face. Lego, what are you doing? Your market's kids, but this clearly isn't marketed at, it's obviously marketed at kids, but this was done to appease a gay audience. To be like, oh, wow, Lego's on our side. Like, I imagine you're going to see a dip in sales after this commercial, man.
Yeah, definitely. It's the same with Disney. Disney's going to see a dip in sales after this O'Keefe
expose.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's what we were talking about earlier as far as, the Disney thing goes. What's going to happen at the parks? Like, they're going to be like, sorry, white people, you can't buy fast passes. It's, why don't you give up your spot for a diverse person of color? Give up your spot in line. We've been here for 4 hours. Yeah, well, you can wait a little bit longer, whitey.
Get to the back of the line.
But yeah, it's just so ridiculous. And same as this pride crap, man. It's just so ridiculous. Leave the kids alone. Quit marketing. Again, the reason they made this wasn't, again, it is marketed at kids, but the reason they made this was to virtue signal to the LGBTQ community. Like, we're on your team. Look at us. We have your kid-friendly, LGBTQ-friendly toys now.
Well, and to BlackRock and these other corporate entities that are
CEO
are trying to push this stuff.
CEO bonusing himself an extra couple $1 million because BlackRock was like, yeah, we want this in there. We want more LGBTQ stuff in there. So yeah, just be wary, man. This is it's everywhere, absolutely everywhere. So let's push on to the next subject because, again, I'm just getting worked up. I'm getting mad. So let's go to more culture news. Let's do something more lighthearted and fun. I don't know if you guys heard, but Justin Timberlake was arrested for a DUI. I don't think this is the first time he's been caught drunk driving, but, that's what happens when you're a rich celebrity. You can get away with whatever you want. A $50,000... whatever fine they saddle him with is not going to be enough money. He's just going to be like, don't care. Here you go. Piss off. That's what it is. But anyway, we have footage of what Justin Timberlake was doing before he got behind the wheel of the car. Here you go. That's so good, dude. Yeah, don't get behind the wheel, Justin. Don't do it. Oh my God. But yeah, man. I mean, Justin Timberlake, like, it's who's gonna get caught drunk driving? It's gonna be me. Yeah, that's right, Justin. It is gonna be you. Oh my God. But yeah. And what do you get? There you go. Justin Timberlake driving drunk, getting caught and arrested by the police. And like I said, that fine's not gonna hurt him. He's Justin Timberlake. He's like the world's biggest
Pop star.
pop star.
Since Michael Jackson died, he's probably the world's biggest pop star.
Yeah, let's push on to the next one. Okay, so we're pushing on to a little bit, going back into the political. We have rare footage of a Joe Biden rally, and it's actually pretty lively, this this footage that we have here. So whenever you're ready, Chad, just give it a little play.
No, I'm not playing that music with it.
There's Taylor Swift song playing with it, so just be prepared for that.
Good stuff.
Is that Joe Biden in the red?
Said, I'll tell you this, that's not too far off. That's what Democratic Party used to be. It still kind of is, because they still go for all the racial stuff nowadays.
Yeah, they still do. They are all about the racial stuff in the Democratic Party. Always have been. So, but yeah, there's a Taylor Swift. It's the haters gonna. So it actually really, the song really fits with the movie, like the way they're moving and stuff. Like it's kind of funny. Like so, check this out. But it is just hysterical. There's a Taylor Swift song playing, and it's footage of. It's not really a Biden rally. It's a. If you're watching, obviously you know that. But it's a clip scene out of "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou," and it's the scene where they stumble upon the Klan rally. So, but yeah, there's a Taylor Swift song playing, and it for whatever reason it plays really well with what they're doing in the scene. So, it's a very funny clip. So let's go ahead and push on to the final subject here. Okay, and then so I know you guys know that there is supposedly coming down the pipeline. There is a Trump-Biden debate coming on, but there's stipulations. It's not gonna be a public debate, so there'll be no live audience. There'll be no crowd, and they're gonna have strict moderators from CNN, and I think right here we got some of basically this is, in our opinion, this is exactly what the debates between Trump and Biden are gonna look like.
Tonight goes to Mr. Frog.
Mr. Frog, why are you so evil? You have 1 second to respond.
Hello, Time's up, plus you're wrong. The next question is for our beloved and highly intelligent president. Why are you so amazing? You have unlimited time to respond. Our first question tonight goes to Mr.
That is pretty much how they go. It's like, Mr. Trump, we're gonna have to stop you. It's not your turn. It's not your turn. If you remember the debates from before, it was only Trump just being boisterous and not, allowing them to take away the mic.
If you can, really quick, while I kind of go over that, if you can't pull up that one, you're a nasty person.
Yeah, I'll see if I can
So, but yeah, that right there is exactly how we feel like it's going to go. I mean, there is no other way. They're going to. I mean, we all know that all the CNN people hate Donald Trump. They hate him. Even if they don't really hate him as a person, the corporation CNN is going to tell them to be aggressive with him and then treat Biden with kid gloves. And again, if the debate's not going to be, I don't think the debate's going to be live. I think, they're always going to have that, what do you call it? They call it a kill switch, so where they can basically, they'll be like 10, 15 seconds, 30 seconds ahead in the future, and then they'll be able to go to black or cut to a commercial really quick if Biden looks bad. Now, you can be like, that's conspiratorial, but this is a true thing. Like, I mean, they have what they call kill switches in media, and like I said, they'll go straight to a commercial break, or they'll deceptively, cut to a camera to somebody else, and they'll cut the mics of whoever's looking. Like, let's say Biden looks foolish, they'll cut to the moderators and be like, yeah, we'll come right back after this, I think it's going to be very bad. But anyway, go ahead and play this. So this is that video we just watched is kind of reminded me of this video here.
I hope this is it.
Should be. How long is it?
Documents when you knew the federal government was seeking them and then had given you a subpoena to return them.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Can I talk?
Yeah, what's the answer?
Do you mind?
I would like for you to answer the question.
Okay, it's very simple to answer.
That's why I asked it.
It's very simple you're a nasty person, I'll tell you.
Oh my God! See, look, everybody loves it like that. That chick right there is exactly what that little meme we just showed you was. I mean, she's sitting there going, "You gonna answer me? You gonna answer my question? You gonna do this?" And it's like not even giving him a chance to respond. And here you go. I mean, they're gonna come off. Plus, you're wrong. You're a liar. You know, that's what you're gonna see. Like, there is no such thing as a fair shake when it comes to anything any way the media reports about Donald Trump, unless you're talking about Newsmax or Fox will give him somewhat of a fair shake. But CNN, MSNBC, ABC, none of them are going to give him a fair shake. They're not even going to give him a chance to clarify. They're just going to be like, "Oh, that's a racist comment. Bye." It's like, what are you talking about? I didn't say anything. Well, your silence was more than eye-opening, so bye-bye. So, yeah, that's what we think it's going to look like. That's exactly what the moderators are going to look like and how they're going to behave. So, I mean, again, but Donald Trump's so boisterous, so funny, so relatable that I think he's going to win. But the way they make him not win is by not giving him the opportunity to speak and by not being able to. I think the biggest drawback will be Donald Trump not being able to play off an audience. That's right there. What you just saw is why Biden doesn't want to have a live audience for the debate, because Trump will play off of them. Yeah. And they will cheer and laugh.
People laugh, and he does. He feeds off the crowd.
Again, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie, what's it called? Find Me Guilty with Vin Diesel. But he defends himself against the mob so the mob is going to throw him under the bus. He has to defend himself against the mob and against the prosecutor. And he's funny. His character is funny. He's relatable. And he makes not just the judge laugh, but he makes everybody in the courtroom laugh with him. And the prosecutor goes, if they're laughing, they like him, and they're not going to find him guilty. They're on his side now. So, I mean, that's the truth. I mean, the way that lawyer reacted in that movie, it's so true. If they're laughing with him, they're not going to be against him because they're going to find him relatable, charismatic, and likable. And it's the same way with Trump.
Yep. That's why they want to have all the rules set in their favor. No crowd, only CNN panelists.
I mean, it's typical Democrat politics. You know, they're going to be like, we'll have the debate, but we must have the debate on our terms.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even then, they found out that during when Clinton was running against him back in 2016, they were feeding questions to her.
Hillary Clinton had the questions. Had prep time for all the questions.
Yep.
She's like, I can
knew all
write
the
them
questions
out
beforehand, whereas the Trump campaign did not.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, it worked out in his favor because Hillary Clinton sounded robotic and scripted, and Trump just came off as somebody who was just talking off the cuff. Yep. People were relating to that.
Not wrong. Not wrong at all.
So, yeah, I think that's about all we got for you today. It was just we tried to keep it light, but again, the world just keeps throwing this dark crap out. You know, you have Disney doing this crap. You have the illegal immigrants destroying lives here in the United States, destroying the economy. And you have the LGBTQ stuff with Legos now. So I try to keep it light, but it's hard to keep things light and on your toes when there's just so much bad happening out there. But this is why, you got to create culture. We got to stand up, draw a line in the sand and say, we're not moving. It's our job to, I think they said that in one of the Marvel movies where it's like you have to firmly plant yourself, draw a line in the sand and said, I'm not moving. You have to do that because if you're okay with the stuff that we talked about, then I foresee a dark future for you and your kids. And that's not just for white people. That's for everyone. Because eventually, they're going to come for you. Whenever you stop voting the right way, whenever you start thinking for yourself, they're going to come for you. It's like, oh, you're free thinkers. We don't like that around here. Have your own opinion. Disagree with us if you want. But like I said, let us know. Like, share, subscribe. Talk to us in the comments. You can live chat us during the show.
Yeah. I'm not the best at always checking that, but yeah, we don't have any.
Yeah. But that's about all we've got for you today. This is the Twins with Owasso Live. This was the Morning Loop. We are signing off. God bless you.
See you later, everybody.